Security at home and on your person. Do you ever get anxious or concerned or afraid that you might have an intruder and you wouldn't know what to do while you're living alone? Well, welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia. Today we're going to talk about some of the things that you may do. You may already be doing them. You may have a lot more to offer. What I did is I tried to keep it simple and basic. I know that not everyone is in a position to do fancy alarm systems and security systems. So at the end of this video, you'll have some suggestions and some ideas and just some thoughts about what you may or may not do, may do differently, and how to improve your sense of security. Because living alone as elderly people, we're frailer. I know I don't look very frail, but we're frailer. We're unsteady on our feet. We can't fight back maybe as well as we could have when we're younger. We need to feel comfortable and we need to feel secure in our own home because we have a heck of a lot of other things to worry about, right? So this one is common sense, but as I'm going to say to you, listen to what I say, not as I do. I do not necessarily follow all these tips that I'm suggesting. The first one is keep your doors locked. And that doesn't mean when you go out the door. It means when you're inside, keep your door locked. When you go outside to get something, say you go and check the mail, you need to lock your car when you leave. Your house when you leave. You go up to the car to take something out of the car, you need to lock your car. Now, I never do that. I go out every day and I go to the woodshed and I bring in wood and I leave the door. I purposely unlock the door because, of course, it's easier for me to get in the house when I have a stack of wood that I'm carrying. But the idea behind closing it when you leave is that potentially someone could be lurking in the bushes or behind your car or someplace that they're not visible and run into your house when you're not looking, and be there when you return with your wood or whatever you went to catch. So although I don't do that, I think it would be difficult to do it. It's probably a very smart thing to do. Most people feel like they live in a secure location. They know their neighborhood. They've lived here for 50 years, 70 years, and nothing like that has ever happened. I actually have a friend who goes to bed every single night and leaves her door unlocked. I don't know how she can sleep, to be honest with you. I have encouraged her to please just lock your door for me, please. So the other thing is maybe you could add a deadbolt to your door. So you have your lock, you could add a deadbolt. I'll give you an example of what my door looks like. It has a glass window that you could just break the window and open up the lock, reach your hand in and open up the door. So I think, and I've been thinking about this, adding this is a deadbolt that's way down lower that a hand couldn't reach from reaching inside. And if they were reaching inside, you could clunk them on the head with a frying pan or something. But that would be another layer of security. The idea is to have layers of security so that there's more obstacles for that intruder to get through. So you could do that. You could also put one of those chains on the door so you can see. They're not sturdy. They will never keep an intruder out, but it might give you enough time to figure out what to do, to stop and think for a second, call 911, whatever. So all of those, they're just other layers of obstruction for the intruder to have to go through. Then there's consider installing motion detective lights. I only have one, but it is recommended that you have them all around your house, on any outbuildings that you have, and maybe in your yard that lights up when someone walks by, or the detector notices that someone is in the area and senses their movement. So that's something that most people could possibly do. At least have one on your house by your doorway. You should have one that lights up the area where your car is if you ever had to go out. There are sensor lights that you can put even on your steps so that if you go out at night, you can see them. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about security in your home. Try and get your home as lit as possible with these security motion detectors. Ideally, wouldn't it be nice if we could all just have a security system professionally installed? Well, many of us, most of us, are not in a position to do that. So what you have to do is you have to take matters into your own hand and figure out what you can easily afford, what you can install, if you have someone that can install some of these things for you, like the motion detector cameras. There's video cameras that connect to your phone. There's all kinds of technology. All you have to do is Google it or watch another YouTube channel that has more information on the motion detectors and that sort of thing. I would put a link here, but I'm still struggling with figuring out how to do that. So you can have door alarms. Door alarms are just something that when the door opens, when the seal on the door is open, the alarm goes off. They can be a pain in the neck, but they can also alert you that someone is coming into your house. If you didn't lock your door like you're supposed to, and the alarm goes off, then you know you're in trouble. So that's another thing that you can do. So now we're going to talk about personal safety items or things that you could do if you were feeling threatened by an intruder. There are some defense implements that you should keep on hand. Those are pepper spray. It's very easy to come by. You can buy it. You can buy it online. You can buy it. Some stores even have it in the checkout counter. But you can buy pepper spray. And the reason I'm recommending pepper spray is I was a nurse that used to go into, I was a home health nurse, and I used to go into people's homes. And occasionally we'd come across a really not necessarily the patient, but maybe a spouse who's disgruntled and angry at us, or an intoxicated neighbor or visitor or son or child or whatever, but potentially kind of scary situations, or going to visit someone in a bad neighborhood. My husband always insisted that I keep pepper spray on me. So I had one in my medical bag and I had one in my car. So I would suggest that if you get a pepper spray canister, now they look like little lipstick tubes. They're not ugly. They don't look scary. People might not even know that they were pepper spray. But I would suggest that you keep one on your nightstand, close to your door, maybe hanging on a hook right next to your door that someone might come in, and maybe next to where you're sitting most of the day or where you spend most of your time. So we're talking, and in your car. So we're talking at least 3 or 4 pepper spray things, whatever they are. The other thing that you could have is you could have a personal alarm, just like we talked at the about the door alarm when somebody opens it. Well, this is just a personal alarm. You push the button and it sends off an alarm that might startle someone, and then you could use your pepper spray and you'd be all set. They're a pain in the neck, but they're very inexpensive, and you can have them on hand. Like in all the places that I suggested you having the pepper spray, or just where you are at the time. Some people are comfortable with guns, and they know how to use them, and they're not afraid to use them. And in most states, you have the right to use your gun if someone intrudes into your house and they're meaning to harm you. So I don't know a lot about guns. I don't know how to use one myself, but my husband used to beg me to please go and just learn how to shoot a gun for self-defense, but I chose not to. So I live alone and I don't know how to shoot a gun. You could also keep a knife at your bedside or wherever you're sitting. But They're kind of extreme measures, but you never know. One content writer actually even suggested a taser. And I don't know an awful lot about a taser, but they stun the intruder for several minutes so you could get your act together, figure out what to do. Maybe conk them over the head with the frying pan, call for help, whatever you need to do. If you need a cane, keep it close to you. You could use that potentially as a weapon. You could trip someone with it. You could hit someone with it. You could knock a gun out of their hands with it. So there are many things that you could use with a simple cane, do with a simple cane. Keep your cell phone on you at all times. And here's the kicker. Keep it charged. The reason I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek is because I had an episode last week. I didn't have an intruder, but I was in my car and I was following someone who was leading me to someone else's house. Well, she went past the person's driveway and I went into the driveway. She was supposed to be leading me, but I wanted to call her and tell her to turn around, and my phone was dead. So frustrating. It's the first time actually that it happened, and I didn't have a charger in my car because they had taken it out to do something else. So I found that very frustrating and very anxiety producing. If you feel like you have a phone and that you're secure, and then you find out that, yeah, you have a phone, but it doesn't work, that's not a good thing. The other thing is know your neighbors. Know who your neighbors are. Make sure they know who you are. Make sure that they have a list of contact people in your family, your children, your significant other, your friends, so that they could contact someone if they're concerned that you're not okay, or they can come and check on you themselves, and if they find an issue, they can call. Alexa can also call 911. So an Alexa or one of those devices is really, I think, essential. I use it all the time. Some people say, I'm not using that stuff. Well, don't use it. But it's another layer of safety for you. If you're laying on the floor, you can't get up, your phone flew away, you can say, Alexa, call 911, and she will if you have it set up properly. The last and kind of important thing is if you have a dog. A dog can be a great alarm system. It can be a great defense. Now, I happen to have a large dog, but I don't think it really matters whether you have a large dog or you have a small dog. My dog is a Great Dane, and she is a gentle giant. She's sweet. She doesn't have a mean bone in her body. However, I think if someone was hurting me or scaring me, she would have something to do about it. And little dogs, their barking just might intimidate somebody from coming in. Once again, these are all just layers of obstacles that the intruder needs to get by. So hopefully by listening to this, you at least raised your awareness of some things you might consider, some things that you can do that are not expensive. Here's one. You could string a whole bunch of tin cans across your door. Just like, remember how they used to do in the movies with the tin cans, and the cans would clang, and then you'd know that somebody was approaching you. Well, hey, I'm laughing, but it worked, didn't it? So if you have no money and you can't afford to do these things, do something silly like that, and it might save your life. Who knows? It might at least trip them. As I'm doing this, I'm thinking about my railing as I'm going outside. I think I might do that. Anyway, I appreciate you spending time with me, listening to me. I hope you understand that this is just basic. There's probably many more things you can do, and you can please share them in the comments, because we're here to help each other and support each other and help each other to be able to stay at home as long as we can, or as long as we want to. So please like and subscribe and write in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.